Hi, and welcome to HitGuns.com tutorials. Today we're going to go over the M14 and how to disassemble the bolt and get it out of the gun. So what we're going to do, first step, is we're going to remove the top receiver from the lower receiver, just so we can get this in effect. So, the first step you want to take, just like a real M14, you should be able to pull this assembly out. You've got to pull up on it, and there's a small tab inside here. You should be able to lift right out like that. So, next step would be to slide this forward just a little bit. There's probably like a ½ inch groove in between here and here. Lift it up and slide it out. The next step, which we've already done partially, is there should be some tape on the Tamiyas right here, but we took it off already. So you want to disconnect the Tamiya connectors just by pinching this little tab right here, and it should just come apart. Make sure that this doesn't come out because you have to put it back in, and that turns into a nightmare down the road. Okay. There's 3 ways you can go about removing the bolt. The first and easiest would be to unscrew this tube right here, but on certain models they secure it in place better to avoid the problem of this bolt breaking in the threads. The next step would be to, there's 2 tabs located right here on this lock clasp right here. There's a similar one inside the bolt assembly right here. It should disassemble the same way, but with less force. And then the third and most hard way is possibly to take the whole gun apart, which would be to remove these screws, but I don't think any of you want to do that, nor do I. So we're going to go about the second step, seeing as how we already tried this one, and the rod does not come out. It does not unscrew. And the next step would be, first and foremost, what you want to do is remove these 3 screws right here. There's one here, and there's one here. Actually, there's 2. There's one located right here, right below the hop-up assembly, and there's another one located right here towards the selector armature right here. So you want to remove those first by taking one of these. Any one of these sizes should work as long as it's a precision screwdriver. You want to unscrew this one first. Be careful not to lose screws, because screws are generally these screws are very small and very hard to locate as well. Have a tray or something handy. And remove this screw right here, located near the back spring right here. Okay? Once you've done that, there should be a bar assembly that comes off, just like that, as you just saw. And the screw, generally these screws don't get lost in this area because of the motor. The motor is magnetic, so you shouldn't lose the screw. But it looks like I already apparently did. Okay, yeah. Actually, it's stuck right here, just like I said it would be. Again, be careful not to lose screws. Okay. Once you've done that, it comes off. The next step is to remove this top part of the receiver. Again, it's held in place with that clasp pin. You want something thin and narrow, like a tip of a screwdriver, to pop these off. This side is the easiest to pop off, so you can just, like this. It takes a little bit of force, a little bit of patience. You just be able to push back on it like this. You can see it in the shot. Push back on it like that, and it should slightly come off, just like that. The next step, there's one inside here that is you need the screwdriver for to unclasp. You want to make sure this doesn't keep fastening back on. So push up on this tab. It's very, very hard to see. It looks similar to that one. And you should just be able to pop that top receiver off. Now that we've done all that, we'll get to the bolt assembly here in a moment. You want to remove the Phillips head screw located right here. It's a small bracket that just keeps this as a guide rod. There's a buffer assembly right here to dampen the blow so this doesn't break. At least that's what I assume it's for. On a real gun, this would be the gas tube assembly, where the gas is fed through here, but this isn't a real gun. So, next step would be to remove this Phillips head screwdriver, or Phillips head screw. Sorry guys, it's the end of the day. Okay. I want to remove this. On the inside should be a small W-shaped bracket. It's aluminum, and it sits on a small divot inside here that keeps this bracket from moving. you need to watch out for that later. And this is what it looks like. It's not quite W-shaped as so much as it is crown shaped, but I'm not getting into the semantics of that. Okay. There is a guide rod right here, held in place by two divots that hold this in place so it doesn't move. So what you want to do is push back on it like this so it comes off, and then slowly pull it off to the side like that. Just make sure you don't lose any parts again. In most cases, this spring won't be in place like this. As you can see, some may come off, some may come out. In that case, it's not that hard. It's not that hard to locate. And then you should be able to pull back on this arm right here until it meets up with a small circle, which is located right here. And it should just lift off like that. And forewarning, before you reassemble the M14, this bolt cover has to line up perfectly with this. We'll show you how to do that next. Okay. Now that you've gotten this far, and assuming that your bolt looks like this due to either a factory error or misuse, whichever, it's not our business, but if it's broken off like this, you'll probably have a new one by then. So, you'll probably have a new one just like this one. We have to reverse the instruction assemblies as we just shown, so I'm going to show you how to do that. Now that you've gotten all this apart, what you want to do now, make sure that this bolt cover is all the way towards the back, as far as it'll go. Like so, like that. Or else it's going to consistently get in your way. So, you want to take the bolt assembly, this, you want to slide this all the way back until it meets on a small groove right here. There's a groove right here and there's a circle from the CNC machine right here. Set that right on top of here. Make sure that this is back again so it aligns with the groove inside here so it can slide forward. It may take a little bit of time, a little bit of patience to get this on properly. The M14 isn't necessarily the easiest of guns to work on, considering it uses a very proprietary system. But again,